Right. And we are live. It's Give Voice to Your Vision. I'm so excited. This week's show features two amazing healers, business owners, inspiring humans, uplifting the planet with their unique secret sauce. Greg and Antonia are here. I'm very excited for you to get to hear what we're talking about today, that business growth, money acceleration, clarity, aligned business, beautifulness that I love to speak to. These guys are masters helping healers to really step into that experience so that they're creating huge impact. You guys, welcome.
Thank you, Michelle.
I'm so happy that you're here. I was sharing that we had a couple of little technology flusters right before we started. So I'm going to invite you guys to tell folks a little bit about how you got to where you are, just a little bit about your story while I make sure all of the technology is working behind the scenes. Will you share your journey with us, please, so we can get to know you a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Excellent.
Well, in the world that we're in now, where we're online and we're really talking with healers and coaches who want to have a better business. They want to be able to bring more into their business, more of themselves. So when we look at where we came from 27 years ago, when we started this business, we had been working in corporate, and we both had some kind of major health issues that came up. And it forced us to really look at our lives and take responsibility for what was going on. Antonia had stuff that had happened that kind of had grown out of her adverse stuff that had happened in her childhood. She had chronic bronchitis and would get pneumonia every year. And then I ran into something that I had never expected, being the stoic Norwegian that I am. I got home from a business trip in Frankfurt, Germany, and I had a major gastrointestinal problem, which that would never happen to me. And it went on for 6 months, and I went to specialists, and it was awful. I mean, I had diarrhea for 6 months.
And the family consensus was that he had pancreatic cancer, and they just hadn't spotted it yet.
Yeah. So in the last visit that I had with the doctor that I was seeing very often, he said, "Greg, there's nothing medically wrong with you." And this made no sense to me. So I really thought, I have to take responsibility for myself. I left his office. I threw the prescription that I'd been taking in the garbage, and I went down the street, and I went into this new store called Whole Foods. And
Back in the day?
There I came face to face with someone who had been in my life before that. And she said, "Greg, your pancreas is really in trouble." Exactly. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. She was a healer. And she this healing modality that we now do, and that we've adorned with many different things to help people who are in business.
Yeah.
But that changed our life. I mean, it's completely healed me, and then we went forward from there.
We started teaching a certification class, her class. We took over, we opened a healing business. And for years and years, we healed people of their physiological issues, the headaches, the food allergies, the chronic pains, the chronic disease, actually. Yeah. And what was really crazy, and of course, coronavirus shut everything down, but we had already started shifting to online. And what we realized as we went through, these years and years of practice with people is that as their physiological issues got better, so did the issues that they were having with their ability to manifest what they wanted in their life, their ability to be happy, to be calm and confident, and moving towards what they really wanted. So that was such an important turning point when we realized, and we had some experiences that also pushed us to look at what was going on with us when our daughter had some issues. Why did we let our business tank? Why did, everything shut us down? And we really had to pull from inside to figure out, okay, what do we need to do to really kickstart our business, to get back to where we want to be? And we went back to our healing business and worked on the brain stuff, on how our old feelings, thoughts, and beliefs really impacted not only how we were out in the world, but our health. So it totally made that connection. And we were able to move forward, helping people in both areas so that they could move forward in their business, get rid of those fears of standing up, like you teach so beautifully, Michelle, how to stand up and be yourself in front of people or on video. And that's totally, it's like the inside job that you do so beautifully, of how to be comfortable when you're being yourself, when you are showing up in front of people for something that's so deeply important to you.
I love it. I didn't know you guys were in corporate. I learn something new every time we get to visit. We've known each other for a few years, and I love hearing more of your story. And I know today that, well, certainly I'm always sharing that your business is your spiritual path. We don't segment and separate these things. You're a whole human having a whole life, mind, body, spirit, soul, that it all goes together. And I think the days of compartmentalizing it and trying to get these little pieces fit are just dissolving before our very eyes. And I know the work you're doing is so important. Share a little bit with us about how you transitioned, or how you're specifically applying these skills, since my beloveds here are in the world of they're healers and they're coaching, they're uplifters. They have a big message and they want to grow their business. I know that you've been doing some powerful work with specifically people around that. And I know that it's, of course, holistic, so that you have to heal the whole bucket. And that's the opportunity as well. But how have you seen, do you have a story you can share with us, or a client study or an experience that you've had where you've really seen how they can quickly manifest, like you're talking about, stepping into this fullness of who they are, and some of the business results that you're able to get for yourselves and for the people that you're working with?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I find is that and it's so obvious to us when we work with somebody. People will come to a session with us, or in a group setting, we work in both ways, and they'll say, darn it, this thing is holding me back. I'm not able to get this thing done. So when we look at the cause of what that is, so many times it's not something that they had expected. We go back to a time, where something happened when they were very young, and that created a strategy that then moved into the now part of their life. So when they go to do something, all of a sudden they're using a strategy that comes from when they were 7 or 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And those are hidden, right? Those are buried in our subconscious, and we don't even know they're there.
And I mean, not only hidden, but we protect those situations from coming up again. Our strategy is, I'm just not going to look at that at all, because that's scarier. That makes me feel like I'm not worth what I really want to do. So
it feels bad.
Mm-hmm. Hold us back, and all of a sudden we feel small, and we feel like we just want to be invisible, and we want to turn and walk away from whatever it was that we were walking toward,
because it's more safe.
Yeah.
Right. And then that feeling is driving the bus of our manifestation, that feeling, or putting on the brakes, or worse, manifesting what we don't want, right? That feeling is creating all of this cloud, like Pigpen in the Charlie Brown comics, right? Of like, wait, this isn't what I want.
And we had a client that was exactly in that situation. She was speaking of corporate, she was in corporate, and her management changed, all of these things changed, and it wasn't a good situation for her, but she wasn't exactly sure what was going to happen or how she would get out of it. And we started working with her in our year-long coaching program. And right around that time, her mom also died. And there was, a big bunch of stuff that was behind that. As we know, with mothers and daughters, there's also often some fraught situations or energies, whatever. And so she was able to, working with us on the core talk and looking at the stuff in the past that was making it hard for her to move forward, how to even get past not only the grief around what was happening, but also around all of the manipulation and all of the things that were happening in her old job. And she was able to extricate herself from that job, get exactly what she wanted as she left, feel better about what was going on with her family, and then move into her beautiful new healing business. Amazing. That was so perfectly unique to her, all while just being able to uncover and transform and move forward. And it wasn't perfect. You know, she had back injuries and all sorts of things happen with her. That was her body telling her all of the kerfluffle that her life was in. It was physically showing her that, you know, and yet then she was able to unwind that by all the clearing and taking off everything that wasn't her, and then moving to filling herself up with all her beautiful vision and her unique skills that really moved her forward in a beautiful, unique healing business that she's doing very well with now.
It was so powerful to see what she did, because she was able to use the skills that she developed in her corporate life, and she just transferred them and took out all the kind of gooky stuff that had,
It's a technical term.
I know that one.
Right. So, and what was amazing is she immediately, as the healing took place and as she started to put her business into place, she immediately started making 10K offers.
Yep.
And
100%.
Just like that.
Thank you. Okay, so side note, if you're watching this right now and you have a story that says you're going to make the 97 to the one, but I'm often helping people to just craft that offer, and it is in getting out of your own way, which is the process that you guys facilitate so beautifully. And what I love about it is that we are responsible. We create our reality. We are not victims of anything, but we feel like it and operate it sometimes until we know better. And there's always another layer of that petal of that rosebud to open. I stopped saying the onion thing. And so this way you have the power to change, and you have the power to control or take charge, create your life. And it's so important. It is absolutely ourselves and our feelings of, I don't know, lack of clarity, confusion, vulnerability, like who am I to say, all of these things that we feel like I can't just go. I was literally on a call just before of some like super powerful, successful people. And there was still that little bit of energy around, well, I can't just go out there and say that because they won't. And what you're talking about here is empowering people, giving people the power from within, which is where all our power is, right? To actually skip some steps and leap right into the truth of who they are. And that's what I've been talking about for the last life. But even more so, without the truth of who you are, without tuning into that unique you frequency and getting all the stuff out of your way. And it's something that doesn't ever happen once and for all, but it happens in big swaths. It doesn't have to be a lot. So what you're talking about is so important. You can skip right into and I wish I'd known you when I went from my little studio business into my foray into online coaching. And really, I was playing too small in my very comfortable space and changing people's lives, but struggling myself. And this decision, and I went from, inviting people to a 12-week, 12-hour a month, one in-person small group experience for I think I charged $1,200. And I thought that was a lot, to making $12,000 offers. So I wish I'd had your help clearing some of the stuff that came up through that. But it was in the making that I got to see what would come up. And I did bring it. And I was fortunate to be with other people who were helping to help heal and clear that. It's so powerful to be able to take responsibility and to have these unique tools to be able to get out of your own way, that are not about mental, figuring it out, working more, strategizing stuff. So right. I know that you guys are have a class coming up, an experience rather coming up, and it's about this aligned action. I've been talking about aligned, inspired action for years. So I would love to hear. We promised in this live in the promotion that we would hear some money making business growth secrets. So even what we've already talked about is a money-making business growth secret, and that is an inside job. Do you guys have another 1, 2, 3 frameworks or ideas that you use to unlock those money-making secrets for your healer clients? And then we'll go into the opportunity we have to share about the aligned action plan.
Yeah, I think one of the most important parts of being able to really craft not only an offer, but the way of being in your business is that you have to get down to what you really want. if you don't have that, what you want or why you're doing it, then everything else you're just kind of, you're not direct. You're not taking action in a way that is connected to something that's really important to you. So that's where that vision, really being able to craft a vision of what would be the incredible life, who you're going to talk to, where you're going to be, what you're doing, all those things. And when you connect and look at that vision from the standpoint of, what are my gifts? Why am I on this planet? Not what am I going to make money doing? It's what is unique about me that is just so irresistible to people. And doing this, creating this thing takes a little bit of going out and doing it. So then
100%.
Right.
And once we do it, then we feel, whoa, that felt really weird, or that felt kind of, and it's that.
Or it felt good, but it felt really kind of weird.
Wobbly. Sometimes I say it feels a little wobbly because it's expansive. You're past the edges, right?
And we have to get to the wobbly feelings, because it's the wobbly feelings that give us the kind of feeling of, I wonder what was happening there. Is there something there that I need to look at? And our whole process is about, what do we need to look at? How can we heal that? So really, I think one of the fundamental ways to become successful in your business is to be curious about yourself, how you feel, and what comes up when you take action.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's when your gremlins are going to come up. So one of the greatest tips is know that your gremlins are going to come up when you take this aligned action. Be ready for them, because your brain is going to be like, no, stop, you're going to die, or whatever message it gives to you, and say, oh, right, brain, I remember you were going to do that. And you know what? I'm going to take this action anyway. And thank you so much. You're giving me even more power and alignment to do this. And not only am I going to do it once, I'm going to do it again and again. And it gets easier every single time, because your brain's like, oh, nobody died. Okay.
Yeah.
You can try that again.
Yeah. I mean, I've often said, like, no one ever died from sharing a bad post or doing a live video, or, no one has ever died in this process. But the felt experience, that there's a reason we have that phrase. It felt like I would die of shame. I felt like I would die of embarrassment, because the feeling is what it feels like, right? That reptile brain takes over. And I know you guys have specific actual tools and processes that people can use when those things come up. So what I would add to this implementation and this aligned, inspired implementation is having the support, the community, the processes in place to shift and evolve and grow more quickly. So sometimes we practice what we don't want. Right? Like, what can happen is that we end up practicing what we don't want. So we hit record, we feel the thing, and we practice it over and over again. Or we put our message out there, it doesn't work, and we feel this over and over again. So we're actually rehearsing the negative outcome, right? So I'm talking often about, like, creating the positive evidence, and that's a discipline. And I know that you guys have healing tools, specific processes that are fast, that are not hard, that can make people move very quickly, so that you really start to hardwire. And now all the brain science is catching up with everything. If you've been geeking out on that, I'm sure you have over the last 10 years. Yeah. So the proof is there. We know the science is in about the quantum field, and the, like, it's all coming. Yep. But having these tools and the support and the community to quickly identify. You've already given us the tool today of, like, seeing it happen and knowing, wait, that's not the truth of who I am. Like, so I always say transformation is always the same 3 steps: awareness, acceptance, because we get aware and then we like, I'm so stupid, I did it again. We beat ourselves up, right? So we get aware and then we go, oh, hi, like you were saying, Antonia, that was beautiful. Like, hey, I hear you. Yeah, you're freaking out. It's all right. We're going to go anyway. Let's rewire, right? And then action. And having the tools, community support, mentoring to handle these real undercurrents is super powerful. They say your mind is like a bad neighborhood. Don't go in alone until you've rewired, right? And that takes intention and commitment. Greg, I love what you were sharing about vision. I call that the fuel, right? The fuel for your business, because if you don't have fuel, being an entrepreneur, and if you're a healer and you're going to grow a business as a healer, or you're a coach and you're going to grow a business as a coach, you are an entrepreneur. And if you're an entrepreneur, that means you're all in, balls to the wall. Like, this is not for the faint of heart, because why? You're going to meet yourself, and you have some things that you're going to need some courage and some confidence, and you need to fail forward. And there's all kinds of expansion built into entrepreneur. And your vision is what keeps you going. Your vision is what soothes the savage beast when you're meeting your limits. Your vision is the magical elixir of transformation for you to step into your next size of allowing to be. And you guys help people zoom right into that.
Yes.
Well, and one of the things that's so important about vision is being in a support system where you can tell people about that vision and they become your witness.
Yes, I call it transformative witnessing in my world. You have to be seen in it. And sometimes they see you in it bigger than you see you.
100%. And those are our cheerleaders and people that we want to surround ourselves with, so that we have people that aren't pulling our energy up down, but are helping.
Well, you better be careful. I don't know. The economy, well, sounds good, but how are you gonna, I don't know. Did you do that yet? You know, and that's that reality check.
Yes.
Right. We were on retreat with the SOAR ladies this last weekend, and I was talking about, really cultivating that magical unicorn, right? Like, we are magical unicorns. We are willing to do what Wayne Dyer told us and believe it before we see it. And that requires us to be in community and support and inspired by and mentored by, collaborating with people who get it. Like, believe it before you see it is not how everybody's living. And it is the vision that lets us do that. But we need each other. It's not a solo sport. Solopreneur is a great, big, fat, ugly lie. Don't go. You also are talking about alignment. And I would love to hear about that alignment. You said something about how that I can't remember exactly what it was. It was just a minute ago, but you said this, charging for and value. This is the idea that came into my head. It's not what you said, but value. When we do what is easy, what is our superpowers, what is our strength, we can easily kind of minimize that. Or that's actually what we want to charge the most for. And because we take it for granted, people don't know, that secret sauce is our, unique voice in the market, our unique offering. So talk about that in terms of the alignment and how you're working with folks.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the things that we say to help people, because it's hard to see, just like you were saying, sometimes that is the biggest secret in the room, really. The most unrecognized is what you do, like breathing.
Yes.
The thing that you
How
do.
dare I charge for breathing? But I'm so good at it and nobody's breathing.
Exactly. And coming around to what that is and understanding and being aware of it in yourself, and then being able to put words to what is that unique skill? What is that thing that I'm doing that, whoa, actually, that is my unique offering. Whoa, that is part of my unique offer that I'm going to put out in the world, and nobody else does it like I do it. And that's what makes it perfectly aligned with you, because you do it like breathing. So it comes naturally. It's easy. Time flies when you're doing it, and you don't get tired. You love it. It is a deep part of you. And so when you put that part in your aligned offer, in your aligned actions, then all of a sudden you're on fire. You can't be beat, because you are being just so who you are that you don't have to make anything up. No one's putting words in your mouth or telling you how to be. You're being yourself. And that's that's pretty easy to carry forward once you get used to it, right? I mean,
it's impossible not to once you get used to it. And I'll feel a little bit of disappointment once if I feel like I'm trying too hard or working an angle all of a sudden for whatever filter comes up. Because and this is what I teach as well, being able to get out of your own way and let the message come through. There is is like flying. That's why I call it soar, right? We soar because it is like flying. So, but learning the strategies, tactics, tools, the small bits, the tactics, those little pieces. If we're not factoring in our own voice, our own vision, and we're trying to get it right instead of allowing and listening, it's the secret ingredient that people leave out. And you're giving them a really practical tools approach to access more permission for that, which I just love. It's so important. And it's great to say, you got to be you. And there's people out there now talking about finding your voice, and you got to show up with all of who you are. But frankly, that's just flat fucking scary for a lot of people, right? And we are not habituated to it. Even those of us that are the ooey gooey transformation people, we're more confident and comfortable in the transformation process and in the work. But when it comes to like growing a business, actually, creating leads, sales, those pieces, and being able to express your message from that thing that you're here to do in a way that leads to people actually coming toward you and hiring you is not something that you figure out and then you do. It's something that you start doing and you evolve. And I know you guys have a class coming up next week that's going to help people access some of this alignment. So will you share that with our lovely listeners? And I will make sure that a link gets posted in all the places where we are streaming. What's going on next week?
Yeah, so we've got the aligned action plan. So I love having, when you go onto somebody's website who's going to teach you something and you hit the video button and you're going to watch it and it says 42 minutes. And you're like, there's no way to do that, right?
Where is that speed controller? How bad do I care?
So we've made these little snippets of content to teach you and move you through this aligned action plan. They're like 5 and 6 minutes. One of them is 7 minutes, but 5 and 6 and 4 minutes throughout the week, and you'll get one each day. And it's all designed to emphasize and bring out you, to be able to create vision, look at what is uniquely you, to be able to create an action plan that's based on what you do best. And then to also see what are some of the things that would keep you from being able to do this, because that's important. Because when you go out to do it, you want to know that this isn't just like so easy, and once you figure out the plan, you're just going to go and do it. You want to actually know, when I go to do this, some stuff's going to come up, your kryptonite. So we're going to look at the kryptonite also, so that you don't get stuck. And each day we're going to have a healing call in addition to the content, so that we can go over the content and heal the stuff that would hold you back from being able to implement.
Yep. And on some of those calls, you'll learn a few tools of how to use core talk to heal yourself from these issues that you might be having that stop you from getting into actions. And those issues which actually cause like procrastination, perfectionism, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, we're going to look at all of those different things and how to get around those, how to clear them out of your body, mind, and spirit, that whole being that you are, that super consciousness that represents every part of you. You can clear all of that past stuck energy and conditioning and other people's sticky energy, so that when you get rid of those old things that aren't you anymore, they might have happened to you, but they're not you in the present. When you get rid of all that stuff, your beautiful, unique voice and intentions and inspiration have more room to come up and shine. And there, with your neural pathways, you clear out some of this stuff and your brain's like, oh yeah, I can do that. That's not as hard because I'm not as scared. I'm not as angry. I'm not as sad as I was before. So I can make this change. And your brain and your body work together to be like, I can do this. Let's go for it.
I love it. I love it so much. You guys have said a lot today. The thing that I would add for those of you considering, right now people are making some decisions about what they're investing their time and energy in and their money. And I've talked to, we set about talking to hundreds of people since about May of this year personally. Like my team and I are actually talking to people. And I can tell you for sure that there's a whole bunch of people who are feeling like maybe they'll do this strategy, or maybe they're going to do a podcast or a summit or a challenge, and maybe they're going to do this and they're going to do this. And they've invested tens of thousands of dollars and they've done some things and they've been at it for a while and they're frustrated and they're tired and they've lost trust in themselves and their ability, or not necessarily their ability, but their desire, their ability to craft the business that they want. Yes. And so we often try some things and it doesn't go well. And then we think, well, I tried it and it didn't work, or I'm not good at technology, or I'm not good at marketing, or I'm not good at these things. So I got to tell you, sadly, I would say 10% of people that I've known for a long time that are brilliant, not 10%, at least 5. I'm making up numbers, so I want to be honest. But we're like, I put it on hold. I'm putting it on hold. I can't deal with it. And it is these little hidden loops that we get caught in. Yes. I've been watching Westworld. These little hidden tracks that we repeat, and having a way to interrupt that pattern is so powerful. So you may be thinking, oh, this experience sounds amazing, but I've got all these other things that I'm doing. Right. So if you've been trying to do a lot of all these other things and they're not working, there is 2 things that I would recommend. One is having a mechanism to start to clear some of these subliminal, habitual patterns and tracks that's the thing that has grown my business more than anything, any strategy, tactic, or tool. And then I would propose that you listen and look at how the things that you have tried and and not getting the results that you want are impacting your confidence and your self-trust. Yes. Because I got to tell you, I don't think calling leaves you. I think that calling and that desire and that mission and that voice, that thing that's coming through that wants to be born and created, that actually already is created in the quantum field, that you're in the way of or you're not getting to, it's not going to leave you alone. So really, what's the choice? And then secondly, I would say invest your time and your energy and your resources in those 2 things: simple implementation and aligned strategy, and getting out of your own way. Yes. Like, don't give up on yourself no matter what. And this is an opportunity to work with 2 masters to start to heal and shift some of that out of the way. I've had the privilege of dabbling in the work that you 2 do, and have had physical healings and other healings just in a few minutes with you. So I am excited for those who will join you for the Aligned Action Plan experience, because words don't teach, thoughts don't teach, they create. But it is your experience that's going to help you transform, and transforming and stepping into your business leadership by becoming the big business person that you want to be or need to be in order to get what you want. Having that line up with that calling vision is the way you're going to make the biggest difference in the world. And Greg and Antonia are ferocious leaders to help you do that. Will you guys leave us with a final thought or excitement about what you're creating next week, or anything else you want to share?
Well, I'd just like to talk about what you need. And guess what? Everything that you need, you already have. And guess what is the thing that you need the most is you.
That's right.
You are born with everything that you need. You have gifts that are so far beyond what you could possibly learn in this life from others. 100%. Your experience is only adorning your gifts. And when you lead with your gifts and so what I mean when I'm talking about allowing your gifts to shine is that you let people see you, the unique you that you might think is kind of weird, or that you might think people might not accept,
or maybe haven't accepted in the past.
Right,
exactly. You're carrying around about it.
So it really is your uniqueness that is going to attract exactly what you want. And the deeper you go into your unique skills and the way that you want to be in the world, the way that you really want to be, not the way you think you need to be successful, the more you
That
will.
is so seductive. We could do another whole conversation on how seductive it is to try and fit ourselves into our other mentors, guides, scripts,
Right.
processes, and become that. And then we go, it didn't work. I'm not good at it.
It doesn't feel good. And
It doesn't feel good.
What Greg is leading into. How the heck do you do that then?
Yeah.
Well, the very first step that anyone can do all day long is be here now.
Yeah.
So be in the moment, feeling what you feel, thinking what you're thinking, not stressing about the past or worrying about the future. Bring it on home to right where you are and seeing, oh, I'm all right. It's actually all right. I didn't die from hitting send on that email. I'm all right.
Yeah. In this moment. Mm-hmm.
Right in this moment. And in this moment is where we heal. It's where we experience. It's where we heal. It's where we grow.
It's where all our power is.
It is where our power is. If we're thinking about the past or worrying about the future, those are not powerful places. So stay right here.
You're
right.
making me think of Oogway the turtle.
Oh,
You know. But today's my youngest 17th birthday. So we watched a lot of Kung Fu Panda back in the day. And he is the first, movie that I saw talking about yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. That is why today is a gift. It is the present. You guys are amazing. I'm so excited for what you're creating. Thank you for being here. You guys go play with Greg and Antonia. If you don't have 10 minutes a day to heal and transform your life, your priorities could take a looking at. And this is a way for you to have some rapid expansion and start to shift and move some of those little hidden trigger bubbles that could be slowing you down. And for sure, all day long, forever, the cat is out of the bag. The expansion is upon us. The acceleration and evolution is here. The healers must grow and expand and serve. The coaches must grow, expand, step into your thought leadership, step into your visionary expression of who you are. And that means shining your light, being you, and out past your edges. And having the support of these two lovely humans to do it is an opportunity that I don't think you want to miss. And I am so excited to have you guys. Thank you for being here and sharing your amazing energy and wisdom with our audience. Guys, go sign up with Greg and Antonia. I put the link on our the Inspired Voice Business Coaching business page. I'm going to come back to you in the Facebook group, Power Up Your Presence. You all are welcome to join that group. There's going to be another link underneath I'm going to clean it up, Facebook's little puzzle, so you can find these guys. It's not too late to join. I think this is a free opportunity to get healing with them, to get aligned, and to do this work with these two masters. No brainer. And I'll make sure the links are everywhere you might be watching this video. Thanks, you guys, for being here.
Thank you.
Your blessings on your expansion and your heart journey next week. Keep me posted, and I'll see you all next week on Give Voice to Your Vision. We have another special guest coming up in a couple of weeks too. So I'll see you there. Thanks again, Greg and Antonia, for being with us.
Thank you, Michelle. Love you.
Love you too.